Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're going to take a look at the carbines in the BF Hardline beta. Over the last few days, pretty much everyone has been preoccupied with the M16A3 and the M416, and while I did get to give these guns a good run today, I've been playing with mostly the less popular weapons like the carbines. That's not to say that the carbines aren't popular. I mean, the R0933 is the default gun of the operator kit, and it's probably the gun most of us started using initially before we'd unlocked anything else. Unfortunately, the R0933 was a bit of a letdown, and I know that put me off the category, but after I unlocked some of the better carbines, I really started to enjoy them a lot. Now, I should point out a few things before we go any further. Number one, this is only a beta, and number two, the 4 carbines in the beta probably aren't the only carbines that'll be in the final game. In the pre-beta footage that guys like Levelcap and JackFrags posted a few months ago, we saw 2 more carbines, the ACWR and the Car 556, which may get added at launch or may be added in a future DLC. Simthic.com released some stats for the carbines a few days ago, which is what I'm basing this video on, but just bear in mind, even they have said that these stats haven't been completely tested in-game. That being said though, all of their stats come from the game files, so they're about as accurate as you can get, bearing in mind of course anything could change in the final game. But anyway, like I said, the first carbine available is the pretty unremarkable R0933 with an 800 RPM rate of fire and the standard carbine damage model. The big problem with the R0933 is a ridiculous vertical recoil and first shot multiplier, which combined with its terrible standing ADS makes it very hard to hit anything even at close range. On the other hand, the other police carbine, the SG553, is very easy to control, more accurate in ADS and from the hip, and has a faster reload speed. The only disadvantage it has against the R0933 is a much slower muzzle velocity and a lower rate of fire, but even taking this into consideration, it's still a much better all-round gun. Now, as for the criminal carbines, the G36C is also a great all-round weapon, with a 750 RPM rate of fire, slightly better than average hip fire, and a still fairly manageable recoil pattern. It's also got a slightly better than average muzzle velocity of 500 meters per second, but that being said, it still doesn't compare to the R0933 or any of the assault rifles. The last carbine in the Hardline beta, and my personal favourite, is the AKS-74U, which hits harder than any other carbine at close range, but hits slightly softer at long range. It also has a decent rate of fire of 735 RPM and a very controllable recoil pattern, which is balanced out by a fairly slow muzzle velocity and a slightly slower reload time. Of all the carbines, like I said, the AKS is probably my favourite, just purely because it's got a decent rate of fire and it hits a lot harder at close range. I also like the SG553 because you almost don't notice the recoil of this gun, and I'm sure PC players would appreciate this a fair bit without the aim assist to keep them on target. As for attachments, well, it's really going to depend on the individual gun, but in general I like to use the one-time sight, laser, heavy barrel and the vert grip. I'd probably run with the angled grip on the R0933, but my advice would be just use this gun enough to unlock the SIG or one of the ARs instead, and then be done with it. All in all though, I'm pretty happy with the carbines in the Hardline beta, because they seem to be better suited for the close quarters gunfights that you're likely to come across in this new game. It's good to see that there's some decent variation in the stats between these guns, and I'm sure when we see the other carbines added into the game, we're going to have a carbine for pretty much every playstyle. I won't go into the stats of the ACWR or the Car 556, but if the Simthic stats are carried over into the final game, it looks like the ACWR will be a better version of the R0933, and the Car 556 will be almost like the new AK-5C. I really hope they add in some more high RPM carbines like the MTAR though, because the highest RPM at the moment is only 800, which is a bit low considering the guns do slightly less damage than the ARs do. But anyway guys, that just about wraps up this video, so let me know what you think of the carbines in the Hardline beta, and as always, if you like what you see, please remember to like, comment and subscribe. If you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below, and until next time, see you later and have a good one.